Hi, I finished Gothic Remake a few days ago, and I know I'm a bit late, but the game released on my exam dates. And while reading through other people's opinions, I found some people who gave up on the game because it's too difficult or different from modern games. And as I didn't have this problem because I kind of grew up on the original game, I decided to make this video so I can try to help some people feel less lost and pass on some quick tips. I know I'm pretty light with this sort of video, but I still hope it will find some lost souls out there and help them enjoy the game. Okay, so the main thing that discourages people is probably the combat system. It is very truthful to the original, and because of that it is very different from modern games. As you can see on this very professional graph I made in MS Paint, you start at the absolute bottom. Everything can kill you and will kill you if you aren't careful. I understand that getting killed 4 times by a juvenile bird can be very frustrating, but on the other hand, this makes the game extremely rewarding, as you can visibly see your character getting stronger with every level and being able to defeat enemies you just couldn't an hour ago. You start off with almost no combat knowledge. You know only basic moves that are extremely rigid and slow. You have the front hand attack, the backhand attack, the bash, and the stab. For defense, you can try to parry the attack, which is mostly useful against characters with weapons, or dodge, which is better against animals and generally, in my opinion, much more forgiving. Once you progress into game, you can learn from combat teachers how to make combos and upgrade your dodge into dodge roll through a skill called acrobatics, which I highly recommend as it makes dodging much easier. Now that you know what you can do in a fight, let's talk about what enemies can do. Enemies in Gothic behave in a territorial way. That means that all of the basic enemies will start to make warning sounds as you get close enough. They won't attack you until the third warning, but be careful. If you get too close, they attack you right away. This is useful especially when encountering groups of enemies, as you can pull them out one by one instead of fighting more of them at once, which is definitely a death sentence at this phase of the game. Now, let's get into fighting. Quite a reliable way of fighting 1v1 is just spamming E, because this move can reliably make enemies stagger and gives you a 3-second hit. If they do not stagger, do not attack again, as they will hit you, stagger you, and if they can make combos, that means you're probably dead. Instead, just back up and repeat the process. For enemies with higher HP, your best option will be ranged weapons. In Gothic there are bows, crossbows and magic, but for the first few hours of the game, bow will be all you have. Be careful not to use too many arrows, as you find very little at the beginning and it can be quite expensive to buy them at first. And of course, aim for headshots. There is no passive health regeneration in Gothic, so you will have to rely on one of 4 things that restore health: food, potions, sleep and magic. You can find food almost everywhere. Most frequently you will find herbs, berries and meat. Herbs and berries are eaten just as found, but for meat make sure to cook it, as it drastically increases the amount it heals. As you venture through the wilderness of the colony, you will stumble upon many types of herbs. Some restore health, some mana, some restore both. Most of these herbs' only purpose is to be eaten or sold to merchants. However, there are also herbs that can be used for alchemy, and I strongly recommend you don't eat those unless you don't have anything else, as healing or mana potions will be your most precious resources in the later stages of the game. For health potions, make sure to save up as many flowers with healing herbs in their name. Sleep is a way of restoring both HP and mana for free. It might sound tempting to just go back to bed after every fight, but sadly the devs have made sure this isn't possible. Sleeping in this game consumes sleeping hours. Each hour restores a portion of HP and mana. Once you deplete those sleeping hours, you can still sleep, but it won't restore anything. It serves only as a time skip. You get 1 sleeping hour for every 3 in-game hours spent awake. That means that if you sleep for 8 or more hours, you deplete all your points and will fully recharge after 24 in-game hours. That's 96 real-time minutes. You can sleep in any bed you find, but if the action icon is red, that means that bed is taken and you will be woken up and kicked out once the NPC sees you. Thankfully the developers were so nice to put a bed for you in every camp. In Old Camp, you just walk through the gate, where you first walk into the camp, turn left and go straight to the Arena district. There is a free hut for you which can be distinguished by the red fabric over the entrance. In Swan Camp there's also a free sleeping place for you, but it is a bit hard to find as this place is just a big maze. I won't even try to describe it, so just look. New camp gives you an entire hut just like old camp, but you have to fight for this one. When you first walk here, there will be a guy called Shrike who took the hut before you. Good news is that you can just beat him up and tell him to find another place. The last option of healing is healing with magic. This way you can transform your mana into health. You can do this through a scroll, which is not that hard to find. The amount of healing depends on your mana count. The main way of getting stronger in this game is leveling up. To level up you need to accumulate a set amount of experience points. For example, for level 1 you need 600, but for level 30 you need 297,000. You gain XP from defeating enemies and completing quests. Every level you gain increases your health points and gives you 10 learning points. These points can be further spent on teachers to make you stronger. To spend your learning points, you need to find a teacher. Teachers can increase your stats, namely strength, which determines your melee damage, dexterity, which determines your range damage, or they can help you increase your mana pool. Other teachers can teach you how to better use one-handed weapons, draw your bow faster, pick locks with ease, acrobatics to make you dodge better, and more and more. It is entirely up to you how you spend your points, but be aware that it drastically affects your game. Don't be hasty and don't learn every skill that you encounter. Always think if you really need it or if there isn't a better way to make yourself stronger. I strongly recommend to always have at least 10 points reserved for when you know you need to learn something, and maybe even 20 in later stages of the game, as some high-end skills need up to 40 points to learn. Always have an emergency fund, in real life and also in Gothic point system. You can keep track of your teachers in your glossary. There you can find every NPC you've met and filter out the teachers. If you like stealing and collecting stuff, now is your time. This game has a lot of things for you to find, and trust me, you should pick up and steal everything you stumble upon, as you will be greatly rewarded for it. There is no inventory limit, so the more you carry the better. So again, pick up absolutely everything and everything you find. The currency in this game is called magic ore, and this ore is the reason why the barrier was created. You will find a lot of coins in the game, but they are there just for a story, as they were left behind from before the barrier. The game has an economy system which tries to simulate the real supply and demand situation. When an area has enough of a certain stuff, they will pay less money for it. In this video you can see me trying to sell multiple crossbows. You can see the price drop with every item I give him. As I already mentioned, stealing in this game is very rewarding. It is so much rewarding I would even say the game wants you to steal. You can recognize stealing by the pickup icon being red. When you pick this item up or open this chest or door, NPC who can see you will attack you. But if no one sees you, there will be no consequences for the stealing. You can steal from every chest in the old camp, and if nobody sees you while stealing, all you get is a lot of money. One side note is that if an NPC sees you sneaking inside a house, they will come and check if something is missing, so make sure not to be seen. So steal everything and from everyone. The way to make enemies not see you while stealing their stuff is sneaking. You know how to sneak from the start, and you can toggle it on and off by pressing Ctrl. When sneaking, NPCs rely solely on their sight in locating you. This means that when you go behind an NPC while still not trespassing, they will not do anything to you, and when you toggle sneaking on, you can go inside their house and they will still not notice you. Be careful when picking locks, as breaking a lockpick will make a loud sound that alerts and wakes every NPC around you. And of course, preferably steal at night, although some huts are easier to steal from during day because they are empty. So a quick tutorial for the very hated lockpicking system in this game. In the minigame there are multiple locks with 7 holes. Your goal is to put every lock in the middle position where the red pin sticks out. The tricky part is that moving one lock usually moves another lock with it. When trying to move a lock that cannot be moved, you put damage on the lockpick. At level 0 it takes only 2 mistakes to break the lockpick and make you start again. That's why I strongly recommend putting the points into lockpicking very soon, as it makes the minigame so much easier and you less likely to rage quit the game. Quests are an important part of Gothic. You usually get quests from talking to NPCs, which leads me to a very important thing. As the game doesn't have any sort of navigation or objective system, you rely entirely on the dialogues. At the start, you don't even have a map, unless you buy one, or preferably, if you pay attention, steal one. So listen carefully and expand all the dialogue options. If you get lost, just talk to every NPC that has a name, and ask them everything the game lets you. This will either give you a quest, or at least you will learn something new. Quests can even be hidden behind multiple dialogue options, which will make you feel like you're just annoying and make them beat you up, and sometimes they will. Every quest you have is shown in your journal, but here the objectives are described very shortly and will not really tell you what and where to do, unless you read the dialogue. So if someone has a name, talk to them, ask them everything and pay attention. If you are willing to sacrifice the time to truly explore the game, you will find a lot of hidden things that you would otherwise miss. Stuff like this cave behind the waterfall, which you don't need to find and won't find unless you try to look everywhere. This way you can get some free items that will make your journey way easier. Sometimes you will find weapons or equipment that makes you another bit stronger. What is definitely worth your time is diving. I would say that 90% of all water has something hidden at the bottom. Just make sure not to drown, as swimming is sadly painfully slow. Thank you very much for making it this far. This is actually my first time talking to a computer, so please don't hate too much. For the end, I have some quick tips for you. A very good advice is to save often, and by often I mean like every minute. The quick save button should be your most pressed button after movement keys, because this will prevent stuff like this from happening. You can get a slightly better bow than short bow even before entering old camp. I haven't seen this place being discovered that much on the internet, so at least you get something from this video. In the river in front of the gate there is a small island with an underwater cave where you can find a rider's bow. Make good use of high ground, especially one where you have to climb up, because animals cannot climb and will just awkwardly stare at you for a few seconds, giving you some free shots. Make good use of friendly NPCs. There are a few quests where you just need to follow someone, like the two quests where a guy shows you a way to a different camp. So don't just follow them mindlessly, but try to lure monsters from around the area to them, so they can kill them for you and you get some free experience points. My final advice is to not join the old camp right from the start, but to explore the other camps as well. There is no right or wrong answer and you might discover you like some other place way more. Besides, you get a lot more experience even before starting the main quest. Okay, so thank you again so much if you've made it so far. If you have some questions or problems I didn't answer in this video, you can ask in the comments and I'll try to help you further. I hope you enjoy the game and I encourage you not to give up during the first few hours, as once you get the hang of it I think you will love it. Thanks again and bye.